Hey y'all, it's Amanda Evans Marsh, your host of Coffee Chats with Sold by Amanda. I am so glad you're here, and we are talking all things real estate, community, and how you can find home wherever you are. This week, we've got new content for you, and I can't wait for you to check it out. Let's dive in. Hey guys, we are back today with Letty Mullis, and she is a sweet friend of mine, and I'm just so excited she's here today. So we're going to talk all things investments. So Letty, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, and what exactly is being a mortgage broker?
Hey guys. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited to chat with you and talk a little bit about mortgages. So, I am a mortgage broker licensed in North and South Carolina. And as a mortgage broker, I have access to multiple different banks and being able to shop for the best products, the best rates, depending on your financial situation.
So we're going to dive in today and talk all about investments. And the reason we're talking about investments is specifically, I've got this really cool duplex for sale listed off of Park Road. It's 2836 Huntingtowne Farms Lane. And when you are looking for a home, I think not a lot of people are putting the duplex on their list, right? And it's a
Right.
it's a more niche option, but you can really make grand steps in your financial portfolio by doing something called house hacking. So give us all the details, tell us all the things. If I wanted to house hack and buy a home, what does that look like?
Well, first, let's talk about what house hacking truly is, right? So, and this listing that you have, which is gorgeous, by the way, I we would buy it as a primary, right? So we would live on one side and you would rent the other side. So you're receiving rental income, meanwhile buying the property as your primary residence. So with that being said, you get a little bit better pricing on rates and a little bit lower down payment requirements. So if you had the down payment for a little bit higher, you absolutely can do that, but it gives us a little bit of a break. So being able to live on one side, rent the other, use that rental income to offset your mortgage payment. And then let's say that in 2 years, 3 years, you wanted to upsize and find something else, you absolutely could and just rent that other side in the future. And there you have your 2 unit investment property.
We love that. It's just like having somebody put extra money in savings for you every month, and then you have your appreciation from the market, we hope, right? And so not only are you sitting on this property that is in a prime location, I mean, it's like 3 miles from Park Road Shopping Center, but also you've got somebody like dipping in and just saying, hey, I'm paying part of that mortgage, and then you're paying that part. And so you've really just got the best of all worlds. So this would definitely be an ideal place for a house hacker. So when we say house hacking, now that we know what it is, what does it take to do it? And what does that look like from someone who, if they've maybe even never bought a home and they're like, okay, I want a house hack, but I don't know that I can afford this. What do we do? Where do we go first?
Yeah, I think, well, the main thing, right, is to get the application in, let's look at the whole picture. Let's look at the financials. Let's look at the credit. How much do you have to put down? Because although there is a minimum requirement of 3%, right, or 5%, depending on if you're a first time home buyer or not, and if you fall within certain requirements, well, if you have the additional down payment, putting that into this home to lower the mortgage payment could be a win-win, right? Because you're still getting a rental income from the other side. So really figuring out from the beginning what the financial situation is, what the credit looks like, and then being able to paint the big picture of these are the best programs for you and your situation will help us then say, okay, if we're able to find a duplex within this price point and depending what the market rent is, very well could make sense for you to do a house hack.
So if I were living in this property and let's say I live there for 3 years and my situation
Mhm.
changes, I'm ready to upsize, but I'm not ready to sell the property. What about that owner occupied rate? What does that look like for me as the owner if I decide, hey, I'm renting out side A and side B?
Yeah, I mean, you would still keep your current mortgage terms unless you were to do a refinance. Let's say that we see a market drop in rates and you do end up refinancing. But If you are still keeping the same terms of your original mortgage, your interest rate would stay the same. You're just transferring this property as an investment fully.
See, we love that. You guys get the best of both worlds. You're moving in,
Right,
you're keeping your rate. So I
right.
love that. So for someone who's maybe not going to house hack and they're just wanting to expand their portfolio, what are options for someone like that? And what exactly do you have to have? Because I think sometimes real estate investing feels like something that only a few people have access to. And
Mm,
what would that look like if I'm a first-time investor? How do I get in the door to becoming an investor?
yeah. So, and we initially first think of a conventional 20 or 25% investment property loan, right? That's what most people go and think of off the top of their head. Oh, I need 25% down. We need to go conventional, but there's other programs out there as well, such as DSCR. We could do a bank statement loan if they are self-employed and we needed proof of income, or if they didn't have proof of income, we could go through a DSCR. Those are basically getting approval and qualification based on the future rent of the property to offset the mortgage. So there are a variety of options, and really sitting down with your mortgage professional and going through the financials and seeing how much money do we have to work with and would the property qualify, right? We could have a mortgage that qualifies DSCR, right? But we need to make sure that the rental is there to offset that payment to make it qualify for that loan. So there's a variety of programs, and really sitting down and painting the big picture is the most important step in the preliminary phases of when you say, hey, I have X amount of money and I want to buy an investment property. What does it take to do that?
And I think like these DSCR loans are so cool and such an underused resource for people because people
Hmm.
think like, oh man, like I'd love to, I don't know, maybe you want to buy a beach house, like maybe you want to buy a mountain house. And maybe switching gears, maybe that property already has an existing rental portfolio where it's bringing in, $60,000 a year down at Oak Island. And if it is, you call me and I'll connect you with an agent down there. And we'll get you in touch with Letty, and she'll get you in the DSCR program. But you have access to things and to change that generational wealth by finding out what all these programs are. And yes, the rates are a little bit higher because it's a little bit riskier, right, on the DSCR
Hmm.
front. But it's a strategy that if you're buying something that has money coming in, you're basically buying an existing business that
Yeah.
you're not going to work at every day. We love passive income, right?
We love passive income, absolutely, and building generational wealth too. I mean, I think that real estate changes that for a lot of people. And it's a grind, don't get me wrong, and it takes a lot of dedication to do the initial steps to become an investor, but it can change your life and change your financial life in general.
I totally agree. So, all the people that are interested in this property, we've got owner occupied options. We have the DSCR, which is just your investment options. So, if you're interested in talking more about that, we are the dream team and we are ready to help you and would love to tell you more about how we can get you in the door and into becoming an investor, whether you're seasoned or whether this is your first time, or maybe you're just a first time buyer that's like, man, I really want that big farmhouse someday. I don't know where that came from. It always does that. Yay. Um, but you can get there faster because it's like you're adding this extra person that's working for you and helping you into saving for what comes next. So love that. This is Letty Mullis. You can reach out to her. Her contact information will be below, and we would love to get you pre-approved. And if this isn't the property, there's plenty of opportunities out there. Just let us know what you're looking for, and we will put things together to get you there. Thanks for listening today, friends. I'm so glad you're here. If you'd like to keep updated with all of the new content and information, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to get the next notification for next week's drop.